Okay, every venue owner knows this feeling. You are constantly, overwhelmingly busy. But when you look at the bottom line, the profits just don't seem to match the effort. So in this explainer, we're going to dig into why that happens, and more importantly, how you can break out of what we call the busy trap.
Right? You know exactly what I'm talking about. You look at your schedule and it is just booked solid, wall to wall. Your calendar looks amazing. Every weekend's locked in, even the weekdays are starting to fill up. To anyone on the outside looking in, you look like a runaway success.
Your team is just constantly running. The energy's high. There's always something happening.
And yet, there's that sinking feeling in your stomach, right? After all that hustle, you look at the numbers, and the cash flow isn't great, the margins are razor thin, and frankly, you're more stressed out than ever. The reason why might not be what you think.
Okay, so here's the big reveal. This is absolutely crucial. You probably don't have a demand problem. The customers are there. What you have is a systems problem. The way your venue actually operates is what's eating into your profits.
So how do we fix this? Well, that's what we're about to break down. We're going to start with the busy trap itself, then uncover 3 hidden leaks that are probably draining your profits right now. We'll talk about why you feel like you've hit a ceiling, and then we'll get to the good stuff, the scalability equation that really changes the game.
All right, first things first, let's really get into this whole idea of the busy trap, because it's built on this huge misconception that more bookings automatically means more money in the bank.
Look, there's a huge difference between just being busy and actually being profitable. More activity, that just means more events. But better profitability, that comes from efficiency. Think about it. If every new event you book also brings a proportional increase in your costs, well, you're not actually growing. You're just running faster on the same hamster wheel.
So does any of this sound familiar? This is what we call margin compression. Your payroll is somehow rising faster than your revenue, your team is spending way more time coordinating everything, there's more admin work, and honestly, the stress level for every single event is just through the roof. This is the biggest sign that busy is not the same as profitable. All right, so if you're so busy, where's all that profit going? It's not just vanishing into thin air. It's usually leaking out through a few cracks in your operations that you might not even see. Let's talk about the 3 biggest ones.
And here they are. Your profits are being quietly drained by 3 things: endless manual communication, a bunch of disconnected systems, and constantly putting out fires instead of preventing them. Okay, leak number 1, manual communication. Just think for a second about how much time your team spends on this stuff. Those endless email chains, the back and forth on WhatsApp just to confirm something simple, answering the same questions from vendors over and over again. Every single one of those is paid labor time that's not making you any new money. Now multiply that by all the events you have this month. It is a huge hidden cost. And that brings us to leak number 2, disconnected systems. You know, when your contracts are in a folder over here, your payments are handled by a totally different tool, and all your staff communication is happening in a giant group chat, you're basically creating a minefield of potential errors and delays. It's not a system, it's a house of cards.
And all of that leads right into leak number 3, constantly being in reactive mode. When your systems are weak, your team spends all their time firefighting. Every single time you hear someone say, let me quickly check on that, or I'll have to get back to you, that's the sound of your profit margin literally burning away. Good, structured operations protect that margin because the answers are already there.
So what's the long-term effect of all these leaks? Well, when they go unchecked, you don't just lose a little profit here and there. You actually lose your ability to grow. You hit a ceiling.
And this is really the heart of it all. As your bookings climb, that admin workload climbs right along with it. Eventually, you just hit a wall. You run out of hours, your team runs out of energy. You physically cannot take on more business because the whole thing becomes too complicated and chaotic to manage. So listen, you're not stuck because people don't want to book your venue. You're stuck because you've maxed out the human capacity of your team to handle all the manual work and coordination. Your growth is literally capped by these very real limitations.
So, how do you smash through that ceiling? It's all about a fundamental shift in how you think. You have to stop chasing more volume and start engineering more efficiency. Let's look at the simple equation that the top-performing venues absolutely live by.
And here it is. It seems so simple, but honestly, most people only focus on the first half. They pour all their energy into getting more revenue from each booking. But the real secret to scaling your business is to relentlessly focus on decreasing the operational cost of each booking. So how do they actually do that? It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. They build systems. They standardize communication so they're not reinventing the wheel every time. They automate all the boring, repetitive stuff. And they centralize information so everyone can find what they need right when they need it. It's about creating a smooth, structured journey for every client.
And all of this leads to one final and maybe the most important shift you can make. It's about changing the one core question you ask yourself about how to grow your business.
Right now, if you're stuck in that busy trap, this is probably the question you're asking all the time. How do we get more bookings? The focus is always on that top-line number, just filling the calendar.
But the smarter question, the one that actually leads to real, sustainable growth, is this one. How do we reduce the friction for every single booking? Because if you can do that, if you can cut down on admin time, cut down on errors, and reduce overtime, your profit margins just naturally expand. You become more profitable without even needing a single new client. That is how you scale. And really, that's the bottom line. If it feels like you're spinning your wheels, constantly busy, but your profits aren't growing, the problem isn't your popularity, it's your operational architecture. So I'll leave you with this question. Are you ready to stop just working in your business and finally start working on it?